Oh, baby, it feels good to be back on the Today in AZ After Show. You know, when I was in Paris, France, and up in Amsterdam, all I thought about was stopping by this show at 7:30 sharp, Monday through Friday, to spend the morning with you folks.
Oh, oui, oui. Do they say that?
Did that sound disingenuous at all, or did that come off? How was the delivery?
He was watching it a few times, I think. I think I saw his name.
I couldn't, actually. I tried to stream a bunch of crap when I was over there, but there's a bunch of video restrictions because you're in Europe. I couldn't watch all my favorite teams lose in various sporting events.
That's right.
Which is kind of a blessing in disguise, but I digress. Steadicam Dave, very happy to see his BYU Cougars beat up on Boise State while I was gone. I got a soft spot for the Broncos, not so much for the Cougars. Congrats, my friend.
You like the different type of Cougars. It was too easy. Yeah, it was right there. You just put it on a plate for me.
Good morning, guys. I hope your Tuesday's off to a great start. The comment section is already abuzz. Everyone's talking about things that have been ruined from their childhood. And I can't wait to share some of these. So first, let's set the table, though, and show you why we're talking about this. In a second, we're going to roll some sound of the Alphabet song, but it might sound a little different than you remember. Listen to this. J-K-L-M-N-O-P-Q. No, that's not how it goes.
It's L-M-N-O-P.
So this thing is actually from 2012, but it recently resurfaced because a comedian posted this video on Twitter, and as Twitter does, it went crazy and everyone got all upset about it. So we remember the Alphabet song as
L-M-N-O-P.
C-D-E-F-G-H-I-J-K
L-M-N-O-P.
Yeah, it's just one
and
thing.
then there's a pause at P.
Yeah.
Listen to this again.
Then you hit the Q real hard.
Pause at N. They say it helps the kids learn the letters better because
what
it's
he
not all
said,
blended together into one LMNO.
But this has been going on for years. That's how we learned the alphabet.
How long has this original song been around? Can we find out? Is that Google?
Probably as long as the alphabet's been around.
So nobody's had a problem with this. You're identifying an issue that was never there.
Well, maybe. Yeah, I guess.
Who do you know doesn't know LMNOP?
Probably more people than you'd like to know.
No. Stop it. No. It's fine. And it's catchy.
What is that? If it's not, what's that saying? If it's not broke, don't fix it, or whatever that's called.
Yeah.
I feel like that's one of the highlights of the song. He's hitting the LMNOP.
Like, if your kid came home from school and sang the alphabet song like that, I'd be like, that's not how it goes.
Like you've got the tune wrong.
I'd be like, continue. When they pause it in, I'd be like, come on, L-M-N-O-P.
Anyway, so we're asking what other things have been ruined from your childhood. Thomas says McDonald's apple pies. What's different about the apple pies now?
We were just talking about this.
We were talking about the McDonald's
during the break.
pumpkin pies.
I did not know that was a thing.
Seasonal.
I did not know they had a pumpkin pie either.
They're darn good.
What?
They really are.
That sounds like a breakfast.
Danielle says playing outside has been ruined.
Yeah.
It's different now.
Yeah.
You know?
Can't bring your iPad out there. Where are you going to charge it?
You know what's different for me? The ice cream man. Remember when you get so excited when the ice cream man would come and you'd
now
hear
you're
it?
like, no, it's pretty much just a murderer.
Like they don't exist anymore. It's like very rare.
We had
around
one.
Phoenix.
Yeah, we had one that used to, I swear at our last neighborhood, I was like, this guy is following me. Because I would be at this park and I'd hear him. My kids were little, and then I would be like at a different playground. I'd be at the school. I'm like, enough with you and the music.
No more.
Gotta go find somebody else to bilk.
Were you the one that said that you told your kids that when the ice cream man plays that song, it means he's out of ice cream? That's such a
chasing me around town. I couldn't shake him.
That's so mean.
I never carry cash. I'm like, no, that means he's out of music.
Oh my gosh, your poor kids are traumatized. I remember ordering the Ninja Turtle or the Tweety. The Tweety or the Ninja, and you'd bite them and they have the gum for the eyeballs.
See, Mario was the same way. I was a Nintendo kid. They had a Mario one just like that, but the Ninja Turtle one's especially.
Classic. I like the bomb pop, the firecracker. I feel like you get more for your money because they're so big.
I'm popsicle. Right there with you.
Always.
Evelyn says soccer has been ruined. I'd be curious to
Why?
see
Oh, because you can't do headers as much nowadays?
Oh, you mean like youth soccer? Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, I like Nate's. I found out how chicken nuggets were made.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Sorry
a pretty
about
scene.
that.
I grew up on chicken nuggets. Like, I loved them. It's so funny how parents don't even know. And they're like, here, you can have a chicken nugget. Okay. You know, and it's probably not the healthiest thing.
Oh, Jill says cartoons. I think of like,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, cartoons are much different now than when we grew up on.
That's true.
Rugrats and stuff now. It's
Did
cool.
kids still wake up on Saturdays to watch cartoons?
Right? Is that even
It's actually
a
a
thing?
law. As a part of our broadcasting license, we have to air a certain amount of cartoons in like early morning television programs. And so, yes, we still run cartoons, and we have to.
But do
are they being
kids
watched?
still getting
I
up to
don't
watch
know
cartoons?
the answer to that question because they
Anybody?
can watch their favorite series on Netflix or on
Yeah.
Hulu or on.
It's on demand now,
Yeah.
so it's like, I remember my kids now, not on network. They don't. I don't remember them ever watching network cartoons. It was more like Nickelodeon, or when they were big into like, what was that, Disney, Disney Junior.
Yeah.
That sound familiar?
When I was a kid, there were two schools of thought. There was the Nickelodeon kids and the Cartoon Network kids, and you
Yes.
were one or the other. If I'm not mistaken, Cartoon Network might have been on a slightly more expensive cable tier, and so those kids were kind of looked down upon by us Nickelodeon kids as like being silver spoon types. Like, oh, you're watching Dexter's Laboratory? Well, that must be nice. I'm at home watching Rugrats with the rest of the poor kids.
Yeah,
I
love
I
Rugrats.
feel like the cartoons it was more sass on the Cartoon Network. That's why I wasn't.
Yeah,
a fan.
because it was
those kids are a little more sassy.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't like the sass. No talk back to the
out the
parents or
sass.
like sarcasm. I don't like that.
Bud says he lost innocence. Innocence has been ruined for Bud. I'm with you on that one, Mike.
Renee Manners. Renee says Manners.
Krista said the art of actually sending a card or a letter in the mail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Handwritten thank yous.
Do you guys still send cards?
I send Christmas
For
cards.
I'm talking about outside of extenuating circumstances. Like
Okay.
if it was like a thank you for a wedding, that's a different thing. Or thank you for like a baby shower, that's different. Do you send a Halloween card?
No.
Do you send a Christmas card?
Yes.
Depends.
Yeah, so mostly no.
Well, because we have to do like the family Christmas
Yeah, the
card thing.
pictures,
So it's
you
like you
know.
have to.
Everybody sends the family pictures, so I don't send any, but I do receive them, and so I hang them on the wall for
You
Christmas.
could do you and the dogs.
I did one year. I did. I took one with Mia and Milo, and I sent those out. And I was like, here you go, guys. Here's my family picture.
Krista hitting us right in the feels this morning. Says the house I grew up in the town I grew up in, the house has now been condemned. Have you ever gone back to one of the places you've lived and seen that it's just totally different and it kind of made you have
You
that
know what
sinking
it is to
feeling
me?
a
It's
little
like,
bit?
didn't you feel like things are always bigger? Like when you
Oh,
go back
yes.
and you look at like your elementary school, or you look at your
Yes.
house you
Yeah.
grew up in, I'm like, I felt like it was a mansion. It's like, you know, and you go back, you're like, wow, everything looks
Yeah.
my school. My school looks so small. It seemed so like my high school. It felt massive.
My mom's got a 200-foot driveway that we'd have to take the garbage out on Wednesdays for Thursday morning garbage collection.
Yeah.
And it felt like a marathon.
Miles.
I was dog sledding in the great Alaskan tundra, like to drag the darn cans out to the end of the road. Now when I go back and visit, I take the garbage out and it's like, that was like 10 steps. Like, what was I so...
So, like, it was such a big
It,
deal.
it did seem so far when you're little.
Oh my gosh, I would tell the stories because my dad used to make us do active fire drills. So we had like the metal ladder that you put on the windowsill, and then I would have to climb down the ladder with my sister on my back. And when I tell the story, it's like I was scaling a high rise.
Yeah.
Now I go back and look at it, I'm like, I think I could touch the windowsill on the second story. It seemed so, oh my gosh.
Okay,
scary.
guys. What about Pluto?
Oh, I remember when Pluto was a planet.
When Pluto was a thing.
And remember the jingle? My very educated mother just served us
Wait,
9
when she
pizzas. I
said
guess there's a
Pluto
couple
right now, I
variations.
thought of the dog.
Oh,
I did initially too.
Pluto the dog's
Pluto
okay.
the planet.
Still alive
I was like,
and
what
well.
happened to Pluto?
Now what is it? Now what is she serving us? She's just serving us.
Yeah.
She's just serving us.
She's serving us.
It's open for interpretation. Pluto's a part of, what do they call them now? The outer something bodies.
yeah.
There's like a name for the
Yeah.
sort of celestial bodies out there.
In my heart,
Stars.
Pluto is still
Yeah.
still included.
You know,
my
Pluto
heart.
was the first planet discovered in the United States.
And in Flagstaff.
Ooh,
yeah.
Pluto
look at
was-
both of you. with
Pluto
the
was
facts.
discovered in Flagstaff at Lowell
Science.
Observatory.
Bud says he's glad I shaved the mustache. But I came to work with that mustache on Sunday just to give everyone a little bit of a scare.
How long did you last with it?
Until I had to be on television and then I had time to go. Get rid of the caterpillar. Nancy says, lying on our backs on a warm summer night watching the stars. Now it's difficult to see them. Too much light pollution.
Too much going on. Ned said, my kids still get up early to watch cartoons on Cartoon Network or Netflix when there's nothing on that they like.
Yeah.
It's good that they still get up early. I'd like to see that.
Even like simple. Now when you look back and you see like simple video games like the old Atari and stuff like Centipede, because sometimes you'll go to arcades and they do still have like the
Yes.
Pac-Man.
Yeah.
And I'm always trying to get my kids to play them. Like, this is so fun. They're like,
I
you're
love
just-
Pac-Man.
You're just eating pellets. I don't understand. Like, there's no nowadays.
There's no
I swear to
guns,
God,
there's
the
no-
other day my son was watching one of those football games, right? Like football video games. It was like a Madden version-ish. But I literally was like, is that a real game or is that a video game?
My mom does it all the time.
I do it all the time.
Oh, that's a sign of motherhood. When you see a video game and you're like,
is this real or is it memorized?
Right.
I don't know what's going on. Seriously.
Yeah.
Oh, Ned.
The graphics are that good now.
They are.
I'm with you, Ned, and I have a story. So he misses the Taco Bell commercials with the Chihuahua. Yo quiero Taco Bell. Okay, I own the dog. Okay, remember when they gave out the Chihuahua and he would squeeze it and it'd say, yo quiero Taco Bell. And then they would have different ones. One had a rose in his mouth.
Yes,
I have them.
You do?
I have them, except for my Chihuahua got a hold of the little Chihuahua of one of them, so it's no yo quiero Taco Bell anymore. But yes, I had those when they gave them out. That was the best commercial.
That is hilarious.
Those are super cute.
Vaclav says restaurants that no longer exist. Stop me if you've heard of any of these places out here. Burger Chef, Tasty Freeze. I'm familiar with Tasty Freeze. Village Inn Pizza Parlor, Sambo's, Farrell's Ice Cream Parlor, among others. It's that's sad when something like a benchmark of your communities in terms of restaurants goes by the wayside.
What about Thrifty's ice cream? Now you can still get it, but it's only available at limited places.
My parents' favorite.
Oh my gosh! I remember as a kid, you would go into the Thrifty's and get the ice cream. They had the Superman ice cream and the bubblegum ice cream. It was so good. And Rocky Road.
Yeah.
Now it's only a few places that have them.
Priscilla says, knowing how dirty playgrounds are ruined it for me, especially the germs we spread all over from kids. Yeah, you wonder why you got sick so much when you were little.
I felt like it made us stronger, Paul.
Yeah. I mean,
our immune system.
I sound like the grumpy old man with the hose in his front lawn right now, but do you remember the playgrounds that we grew up playing on and how dangerous they were?
It was like a complete hazard.
Yes, like we're lucky the kids didn't die all the time on those rusted metal disasters.
Oh my gosh.
Now everything is soft and padded with mulch and
the hot slides. Remember you get a slide coming down? Oh my gosh.
Apparently, a lot of people have the dogs. The Taco Bell dog.
I know, I'm seeing.
Janet's like, I own the dog with the rose.
Yes!
It says, I think I love you.
Bonus if you put a picture in the feed.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
That is hilarious.
Sandra has some too. Wow.
I remember, this is like a traumatic story that I've never shared ever in my life, and it's actually not all that
What?
traumatic.
Is this a new story?
It's a new story. So I was on the playground. This must have been like 2nd or 3rd grade. I was very young. It's surprising I even remember this. But we were playing on the playground, one of the aforementioned very dangerous ones. And we were told that there were like 2 recess monitors, but we were only allowed to talk to them if it was an emergency, because apparently they were tired of like little kids running up to them and asking them to do God knows what.
chair.
Right, yeah. And so I watched a kid climb up to the top of the swing set and then jump off.
Wow.
And I ran to get to the recess monitor. I was like, Billy's jumping off the porch. And she went off on me. And she goes, we told you to only come to me if it's an emergency. Like, more or less, if Billy's not dead. Like, don't bother me with this. And I was like, okay, well, fine. Like, what is an emergency then? If Billy's going to take a 20-foot dive.
Oh my God.
That's not an emergency to you.
Recess monitors.
Speaking of recess, did you guys, do they still play tetherball?
So,
I mean,
we don't
I
have
did.
one at our school, but yeah, our neighborhood has a tetherball. I'd explain to my kids what it was. But yeah, they have one in our neighborhood park.
Okay.
Nobody ever uses it. It looks like it's from the 60s, to be honest.
The
My favorite.
Yeah.
It's very deflated.
I'm surprised this took so long to get to. Chuck says, Star Wars has been ruined. The Last Jedi ruined it for me. Since then, I have seen the most recent Rise of Skywalker trailer and since been cured and released back to society.
Okay.
It's one of those things that...
I know.
Yeah, it's true with all series. And like, look at all the cartoons that just got remade. Like, I heard that the Lion King is awful. And I heard Aladdin was terrible. And, like, granted, Disney's probably making money hand over fist. And I think it's important to reintroduce those stories to a younger generation. But there's something about the original that you just can't recreate the magic of it. You know what I mean? And I feel like it does diminish the legacy of those properties when you redo them and you don't do as good of a job. I feel like you disagree with that.
I liked the remakes.
You did?
Because they were different. I mean, they held to
I haven't seen them,
story.
so-
But then you're adding real people, and I know the animals aren't real, but they look like, you know what I mean? It's not a cartoon. It was very realistic.
Yeah.
So you don't expect it to be exactly the same, but you like to relive it in a little bit of a different way. I don't know. I'm a fan of it. I'm a fan of like everything Disney does, though.
We'll see. I'm worried about Frozen 2, though, Crystal.
Why?
Worried about Frozen 2 because I think Frozen 1 came at a time where there was literally nothing else like it. Like, remember all the cartoons of that, like Princess ilk, used to be cheesy music. The singing was like subpar, and that just changed everything, like your quality and your expectations. And then they waited so long. Why'd they wait so long? I feel like they already outgrew the kids that were super into it then have now moved on. So I don't know. I'm worried. I will still see it. My children will not see it with me because I tricked them the first time. They are not going to see it with me again, but I will see it. We'll see. I have high.
I'll go with you. I went to watch Frozen by myself. I was in California. Had some time to kill before my flight, and I went and watched it in the theater by myself.
I still haven't sat and actually watched the entirety of Frozen, but I've heard enough of the songs from various parents.
Let it go.
Yeah. We had it in the car.
Many of girls that still, like, for their birthdays and Christmas, they want Frozen things from Frozen. So I think it is very much alive still, and maybe the second one will just, reinvigorate all that excitement for Frozen. I'm excited.
We'll see.
Wait, before we go to our In Case You Missed One, Jack gave a good one. Road trips. Miss the maps you would mark. You travel. You travel. The highlighter. Yes. Now kids have no clue
what did we do before, like, Waze and GPS?
Or just cell phones. What happens when you get lost driving half an hour to your buddy's place? You turn around and go back, right?
Yeah,
or a payphone.
Yeah.
We had a baby, eats a boy.
Or pull over at the gas station, perhaps, and go, how do I get this? I don't know.
That's crazy.
Let's break for just a second to get to our ICYMI. In case you missed it this morning on Today in AZ, you missed this.
Most NBA players miss half-court shots. In fact, they make them less than 3% of the time.
Oh, but not this 123-year-old. He sunk one during halftime at a Suns game and walked away with more than 77 grand. Check it out. Smooth.
Aaron Beckon had a choice. Take a simple free throw for $77, a three-pointer for $7,000, or gamble on the half-court shot for $77,000. The former high school basketball player went big, standing up in front of 15,000 fans.
I was just like, why not go for the gold, right? I did my little spin, like I said, and I just did 1-2. I knew right at the release, actually. Right when I made it, I didn't hear anything at first. Like, the crowd was, like, quiet to me. It was just so surreal.
He knew it. And, of course, when he took it, it was nothing but net. He says he's going to invest some of the money. He also wants to buy something nice for his parents.
Oh, what a good son.
A great kid.
Also in other news, I don't know if I'd have the cojones to take the half-court shot, especially in front of 15,000 people.
But what do you have to lose?
Take the cash and go home.
$77,000.
Well, what was it, $77 for the free throw? Forget that. I'd shoot the three for $777. I don't know if I'd take the half-court shot. That's a dangerous game. Or I think it was $777 for the free throw.
Yes.
I would bet that I would make, I don't know, 75% of my free throws. I'd rather just know that I'm probably going to get $700 and call it a day.
Because most people don't think they're going to make it anyway when you're watching these games.
Right.
You know what I mean? So for him to make it was like an amazing deal. Like coming from that side of the world where we do the in-game promotions for the D-backs, like when something fantastic happens like that, it is gold and we love it. We eat it up. Like
when
it
you
is
had
amazing.
a situation like that back when I worked in Boise, as you might have seen at like minor league promotions, sometimes they're really wacky because you got to try to entertain the fans somehow. There was like some dryer company where you could win like washers and dryers that had donated old dryers, and they had like some grand prize of like $10,000 or something if you could throw a golden baseball from like one baseline to the other and get it in the dryer.
Okay.
And it was like nobody would ever even get close. If somebody hit the dryer, it was like, that's good. And then somebody did it, and the whole place was like, what? That's so awesome.
Wait, so they would pull out this dryer?
Yeah, they had it on a dolly, and they'd wheel it out there, and people would throw baseballs at it and like in between innings. Yeah.
Wow.
That's wild.
You got to entertain the crowd.
Minor league baseball.
But I love what that guy said, Eric, when he won. He's like, as soon as it went up, he's like, it was silence. But he knew it.
Yeah.
But the whole crowd was just silent. That must have been pretty cool to be there.
Any final thoughts on things that have been ruined in your childhood?
So many things. I'm so sad. I'm so sad now that we went down this road.
So many things.
So many things.
This makes me feel like we're getting old, you know?
Old.
And
That's
then
undefeated, man.
everything's changed so much. Like our kids, my kid is not going to know what a beeper is, you know?
I know.
Or was, because they're
My
not going to
kids
like,
won't
what?
drive.
You know?
That's
I
something we
hope
say a
not.
lot on the show, talking
I
about
pray for
automated
that.
technology.
I don't want teenagers that are driving themselves. I feel more comfortable with the self
Right.
driver.
You kind of have to just embrace that. What's the Rush lyric, Dave? Change isn't permanent, but change is. Changes aren't permanent, but change is. There you go. That's a nice message to leave you on. We got to get running, guys. We got another Today Show cut-in to get to. Back on the couch tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m. for the Today and AZ After Show. Thanks for sharing part of your day with us. I hope it was fun for you. We appreciate doing this little podcast thing every once in a while. Fun stuff.
Yeah. Have a fabulous Taco Tuesday.
Yeah. Is it Tuesday?